Yo, YouTube, what's good? Your boy K-Law. Check it out. Tell y'all about these work counts, man. Cause I was just having a conversation with one of my boys about work counts. And he kind of misunderstood exactly what a work count was, which he had an idea, which he basically thought work count is basically where they send you is like a low custody prison. You know what I'm saying? Basically, in custody is in prison is pretty much what they give you when they trying to classify you as far as if you violent, you know what I'm saying, if you cause trouble and stuff like that. So they'll give you a classification based on your charge, based on your history, based on what you done did in the county jail before you got there. Like if you was in the box when you came from the county and you got transferred over to prison, 9 times out of 10, once you get to where you're going to the box. And that's going to basically push your custody level up if it's not already up. And it depends on what charge you got. You got some people with life sentences, they don't care nothing about that. But in my case, I only had 52 months, 4 years, 4 years, 4 months. So I had a release date. So I wasn't, you know what I mean? Basically, my custody level wasn't that high. Plus, I didn't have any like prior convictions at all, really. The only conviction that I had was the conviction, that that got me on probation, that sent me to prison. So I was on probation, violated my probation, and then once I violated my probation, that's what sent me to prison. Because it's up to the judge, really. It's up to the judge and your probation officer. Your probation officer can recommend reinstatement for your probation, and the judge can overrule and say, nah, he just gonna spend the rest of his probation in prison. Because that's basically what probation is. You violate, it's a chance you're gonna go to prison for the rest of your probation time. So yeah, the judge gave me 52 months. So when I got to my main prison, well, hold on, let me rewind first. Let me take y'all back a little bit. In Florida, you got like over 150 main institutions, meaning 150 big institutions. Then I think you have probably like 40 some, maybe 50 work camps. And basically what a work camp is, they're part of the main institution. So for instance, when I went to when I got to my main camp, my first main camp, which was Gainesville CI in Gainesville, Florida, I went there. They had a work camp, but I didn't go to the work camp because, mind you, I just got to prison. My custody at medium because of my charge, and I have to work my custody down, which it'll work down over time, as long as I stay out of trouble, you know what I mean, and stay productive. So, excuse me. So, I ain't go to the work camp there, but by the time that I got ready to transfer to Sumter CI, which I think I told y'all, I know I told y'all about in another video, that I worked in the kitchen for like a week before I went to the work camp. So yeah, after like 2.5 years, my custody level went down, and then I transferred to Sumter CI. Now, my custody didn't go down because I was transferring, or I didn't transfer because my custody went down. Basically, my custody went down because time had went by and I stayed out of that I was supposed to stay out of. So that's why, you know what I mean? That's why your custody go down. But within that time, I had put in a good transfer. And I think I said in one of my other videos, if you got like 8 less years in the Florida State Prison, I think after like 2 years, you could put in a good transfer to go to a prison closer to home and closer to family. So after my 2 years was up, I put in to go closer to home. But I ended up at Sumter CI, which was only like an hour from Orlando. So I was still close to home because my people didn't have to go that far to see me, which I was in Gainesville. I was Gainesville like 2.5 hours from Orlando. So, you know what I mean? An hour versus 2.5, you'll get a little bit more visits. So once I got to Sumter, I went to the work camp. Now, I didn't go to the work camp immediately. It don't work like that. So what they do, they get you processed in. So I got to the main unit, Still had to do orientation for that week. But within that week, I was working in the kitchen because they still gonna make you work. Still gonna do a job. You still in prison, so they gonna give you a job. So I was in the kitchen and I was working breakfast. So pretty much I had to be up early in the morning for that week. Like, I think we was like 2, 3 in the morning. Yeah, we had to be in the kitchen getting ready for breakfast to feed the whole compound. Now Sumter, that's what, 1,600 inmates we had to feed. So you can imagine, we had to get up at 2, 3 in the morning to be there. And then breakfast didn't start till like 5 or 6. So whatever we making, you got to make a bunch of, then we got to serve. Then after we serve, we got to clean the kitchen for the lunch and the dinner crew to come on. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's how that went. So got to Sumter. I was at the main unit for a week working in the kitchen, which I already knew because I had been doing time. So once you start doing time, you kind of know how the system gonna go. So once I got to Sumter, I already knew I was going to the work camp. So got to Sumter, like I say, worked in the kitchen for a week. And then that Friday morning, right after I came, did I go work to breakfast? Oh yeah, I was at breakfast. Matter of fact, I was working. And then they told me once breakfast got served, that I didn't have to clean up to go pack my stuff and come to the front because I was getting ready to go to the work camp. So yeah, that's how that went for me. So yeah, so like I said again, worked that whole week. That Friday went to work, and then once breakfast was done, the officer came, found me, made me show him my ID, and then told me, yeah, once you done eating, go pack your stuff up and get ready, go to the work camp. So yeah, I went to the work camp that Friday. I was at the work camp for a few months. Now, when you get to the work camp, this when you about to start going out the gate, 9 times out of 10. Only people who don't really go out the gate at the work camp is the kitchen workers, because we still got a chow hall. Is at the work camp, you got your own chow hall, own canteen, own dorms. You separate from the main prison you at. So I was at something to see, so at Gainesville, the work camp wasn't even on the same compound. The work camp for Gainesville, it was like a mile down the street. When I got to Sumter, you could see the work camp from the main unit, and from the work camp, you could see the main unit. I think I said that right. From the main unit, you could see the work camp, and from the work camp, you could see the main unit. Yeah. So that's pretty much how Sumter was set up. So, but you still, like I say, you still separate. You still got barbed wire gates, but you can see them from afar. You can see the main compound. So yeah, I was at Sumter work camp for about 4 or 5 months, and then they sent me back to the main unit. I was mad too, because the work camp, I was going out the gate every day. So you go to the main unit, you pretty much working every day. So if you don't like to work, you don't like being in no work camp. I mean, I don't advise you to go to prison, period. But I'm just giving y'all my testimony, you feel me? So got to the work camp, and then you have about, I want to say like 10 to 15 squads that go out the gate. So if you ever driving in your city or town and you see the prison workers working on the side of the road, 9 times out of 10, they got 5, 6 years or less, and they getting ready to come home from being in prison. So that's what I was doing. I was on I was on Wildwood 1. That was the name of my work squad. So basically, every morning after chow, they'll lock us down. They'll do count time. Once count clear, they'll call work call. So that means everybody, if you on the squad, you got to go to the front of the gate where you come in at. And then once your squad is called, your officer will call your name if you coming out for the day. So, like I said, I was on Wildwood. We had Wildwood 1 and Wildwood 2. Then you had Parks and Recreation 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So that was like the names of the squads. And your squad officer basically will stand at the gate. And if you coming out for the day, he'll call your name. You say your DC number, your last name, and then either grab your bag lunch if you ain't already got it, and then you go out the gate and wait for everybody to be loaded up. Then we get in the van and then go to the work site, you know what I mean, load up. But yeah, so how I used to go with me and everybody at that work camp, it was 15 to a squad, maybe a little less, and then only 10 of us came out. So you can come to the gate, but sometimes you ain't gonna go out, especially if the officer don't like you. Like, he ain't gonna bring you out he ain't gonna bring you on the squad. He gonna try to keep the people he can get along with on the squad, or the people who you know what I'm saying, they ain't mouthy like that. He'll keep the ones who really mouthy back on the compound. And for some people, that was a punishment, because you got to think, a lot of people have been doing time. They've been down a lot. So going out into the public and just seeing people and seeing these different cars and seeing these different women, that was something to them. For me personally, I really didn't care. Like, I ain't like getting up early in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so for me, I hated it at sometimes. I'm like, man, I do not want to go out to this doggone road and work in this hot behind sun. And that's what it was. And you had to keep every item of clothing on when you out working. So you had to be Class A. Remember the video I told y'all, you got to be Class A. You got to have your t-shirt. You got to have your main shirt. You got to have your shirt tucked in. You got to have a belt if you got belt loops. You got to have solid shoes, no slides. And that's how we work. So just imagine, it used to be sunny out. We in Florida, so we hot year round. We warm year round. So some days, boy, I'm talking about, be out there dripping sweat, because you in the clothes working and you in the middle of the highway. Ain't no trees or nothing like that. So yeah, it ain't. If you don't like to work, stay out of prison. That's the best advice I can give you. If you don't like to work for free, stay out of prison, because they sure enough gonna work you. They gonna work you, I'm telling you. But I used to see some people come back from their squad every day. They'll go out looking, I ain't gonna say clean, but looking decent. They black from waist down. They all in retention ponds. They basically, we doing the dirty work. Like my squad, we did like one of the main highways in Wildwood. We did one of the city parks. We also did like a few retention ponds. So yeah, they gonna get that work up out you in prison. So I advise y'all, boy, to stay up out of prison, boy. But yeah, that's pretty much how the work counts go. You know what I mean? And you can imagine, boy, the work camp is real laid back. Like, the only people who really at the work camp, who I just say who probably not going home, is maybe kitchen workers and the canteen worker. Because when I was at Sumter work camp, the person who was the canteen worker, he basically the person you go to the canteen, scan your card, tell you how much money is left on there, and he basically give you an item that you came to get. When I was at Sumter work camp, the canteen operator there, he had a life sentence, so he wasn't never coming home. But you know what I mean, he had done been down so long that he pretty much was, you know what I mean, he was comfortable with where he was at, so he really wasn't causing no trouble. So he was the canteen man, no, but of course he was still in prison, so he ain't really got no leeway like that as far as going out the gate. But he was still able to be at a work camp, which the work camp only had 4 dorms versus, like I told you, Sumter main unit, 1,500 inmates. You know what I mean? Versus 4 dorms on the work camp. So you can imagine how the commotion was compared to the main unit, how the staffing was. On the main unit, you got the lifers, you got people with 50 years, 100 years, 300 years. You still got people with 1 year, 2 year there. Some people who just can't come to the work camp because, like I said, they custody level high, they stay in trouble, they stay, you know what I mean, on drugs, stay in the box, stay fighting, whatever the case is. So everybody don't go to the work camp, but I was one of the ones who went to the work camp. But like I told y'all, they sent me back to the main unit after like 4 or 5 months. And you in prison, so it really ain't nothing you could do about it. Cause sometimes it be what they call it. It's I can't think of the name, but it's kind of like they trying to prevent anything from happening. Because in the work camp, you going out with one officer. So you got up to 10 inmates with one officer with no gun. We can run off if we really wanted to. Of course, you're gonna be searched for, and you're probably gonna get caught. But if we really want to, we can run off and be free for a little bit. So, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be careful. But yeah, man, y'all fool with your boy K-Law, man.